left join, right join, inner join, outer join, all of these joins are confusing you already in SQL. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to use the right joins, and you would be able to use it efficiently, and how to answer it with a business question. First of all, welcome to my cyberspace, and let's get right into it. A lot of times people don't know the right joint they need to use, and they're probably confused. Let's have a hypothetical question here. This is a sales person table, and we just run this. We see what we have here. Imagine we have a question that says they want to know the top two person with the highest sales. All you just have to do is just order this. I can just order by that sales year to date. So the default for this ordering is always like ascending, so it goes from the smallest to the highest. So I just want to know the top two. I'm just going to do top two, but this is not showing me the top two, it's showing me the least two. So I'm just going to do, so this is the default, which is the ascending. It goes from the smallest to the, so that is not what I want, so take this away. So ascending, so it shows this is not, it shows yet to date, so which I want is the descending. So imagine you say this is going to change now to give me the highest. So this is the person with the highest sales in like this buy company. We don't need all this information here. Just going to take it out, just going to take them out so that we have less information. So I need the sales years to date. I also don't want the commission. So a lot of times when you take out some things, it makes it easier for you. So yeah, this question is for the top 2%. The reason why I'm not taking out the ID is because I want to use it to answer the next question. Is this for all this business, is this person is in territory 4 and this person is in territory 10. Now imagine the question is they actually want to know the top 2 only for Canada. And so what I need to do is I come to this sales territory table and tells me that Canada is actually the territory ID 6. So what I can do is I just kind of pick where territory ID equals to, I can write 6 or just put it in quotes, whichever way it is. Now you might have a question, why didn't I just put this where territory ID after this? Like, why did I not just write it here? That's not going to work, because the order of the query has to be that where has to come before order. That's the standard. So, and that's why you might need to memorize this, or just have this somewhere in your notes. So it has to be in this order in itself. They cannot come before one another. So where territory ID is equal to 6, and it shows me that, oh, for Canada actually, like the top performing is 282 and 278. Because I don't want to compare like apples with orange, so you want to compare people that are in the same territory if that is what the business is sort of looking for. But imagine the business that you're probably referring to, the person who wants the data doesn't know what territory 6 means. You can't just manually start to put Canada. This is just 2, right? Imagine this is a lot of data. So what's the right approach to do this? So I already have so that means that I can't use where territory ID 6, and they also want to have information for, they want to have it right here, they want to have like Canada right here. So first few thing you want to do is to join this territory table with this table here that has the sales table. And how do I use to join it? So I know the common information they have is the territory ID, and this one also has a territory ID. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to copy this, just going to put it right here so we can have both tables side by side. So this is the territory ID and this is the territory ID. So I want to join these two tables on this territory ID. First few things you want to do is, let's take away the where clause. We are going to come back to that eventually. So I'm selecting my normal table, and what you need to do is you need to come and do join. What do I want to join? I want to join it to this table. That's the first few things you want to do. You want to join it to this table. Now, when you are joining it on what? Like, you can't just join two people together. That what is their relationship? So you are joining it on what information? You are joining it on territory ID. Now, when you want to join it on territory ID, you remember there's territory ID here, there's territory ID here. It's best to specify which of the territory ID you are first of all calling. So that's why we can call this table, we can give it an alias. An alias is like you probably know what an alias is. We can give it an alias called P, or call this an alias called C. So what I call this is just arbitrarily. So meaning this is also called P, this is called C. So let's just flow with the line of thought. So I say P dot territory ID. So what I'm saying is I want to give me the salesperson information here from this territory ID information, and equals to C dot what do I have? I want to choose the territory ID. So what I did right now is to, let's take away this order by for now. What I did is I am saying that I want to join this first table and this two table on this territory information. So I selected this table first of all, and I called it an alias called P. Then I'm joining it to this other table called sales territory, and I'm also calling it C. I want to join them on this sales person name table under territory ID, and this other table called T, which is t.territory ID. So let's say this is a different name. I'm just going to call it, let's say it's called territory underscore ID. Just call it the same territory underscore ID. Now, you see that I am having some underline signs here. One of the reasons I'm having this underline sign here is that now SQL is confused that, okay, you are selecting this information, but where is the territory ID information coming from? Do you want to select this first one or this second one? So what I do is I'll tell SQL that I think I actually want to select the first one, which is this P. So I'm just going to do P dot. So it's clear now. Oh, you want to select this one from the P. This sales yesterday is also from the P. You don't have to put it there, but I think for some reason it wants us to. So I'm just, the sales yesterday is also coming from this P, right? So and now I am saying, remember the question is we want to know those that are from Canada. Now, so what we want to do is, I also want to get like the information from Canada, right? So this name is from this other table. So I also want to put, I want you to show me the name. So I'm just going to do comma name. So this is the name. So the name here that I'm choosing, but I know that this name is coming from this table called T. So I can just call this T dot name. Right, so if I run, I don't want to run this first of all, but let's run this and see what is showing. So it's showing me Canada. It's not showing me Canada yet. First of all, do you see why it's not it's showing me all this other information? Let me comment all this out so you could have a better picture of what we are saying again. Let's run this again. So remember that now I have what I ran initially. I could see Canada in it. I could see Canada, but the information I want is just Canada in itself. So what I would do is I would uncomment this. So then instead of saying where territory ID 6, I could do where territory ID 6, or I could just do where name. Remember that name. I'll just do t.name equals to Canada. And SQL is not case sensitive, right? It's like where t.name is equals to Canada, right? So but now it's still not giving me the top two. Then I could, so I want to do top two. So this is it. So we see right now, and if let's say I don't want to have the territory ID information, I could just comment it out. So let me just do this. So most of the time, I think the way it works in SQL is that we don't just come up with like joining tables naturally, except you're very familiar with the table, is that we start from the basics. So the first question I started asking was, I wanted to know the top 2 sales for the whole country. And from knowing the top 2 sales from the whole country, then I wanted to then have the one for Canada in itself. So for me to get that information, then I had to join it to this other table. Then the question might be, how would I know what join that I need to use? So the join that is here, this is the default join, is the inner join. If I do inner join, this is the default join. This, if I do left join also, I would get the same, most likely the same information. If I do right join, I probably would also get the same information. Right, so the question is, when do you know when to use like the joins or the left or the right join? So you could think of it as whatever table that is the first, this is the table that is on the right, and whatever table that is you're joining with, this is the table on the left. So if you are saying you want to do right join, what you are telling SQL is, give me all the whatever, let me say I run this again. Let's try to run this at this one in itself alone. So let's run this in itself alone. So if let's say this is the first table, so what you are trying to say is that this territory ID, this is the if I'm doing a left join, let's start with a left join, the territory ID table. What this is saying is that when you are joining, give me every information on this table, even though the record might not be on the right table. That is the left join. The join or the default join, which is the inner join, is saying that I want you to only return information that the record is on both tables, is in table A and is in table B. Why the right join is saying that, okay, I know that this information here might not be complete. Let's say I have like, no, maybe I have some ID that is like, maybe territory ID 11 is not on this table and the other table has territory ID 11. This is only going to return all the information on the second table, that's territory ID 1 to territory ID 11. Is going to give me more than I wanted. But most of the time, what you would be using would be the default inner join. So if you want to get information such that maybe you have a table that has more IDs or more information, that primary key that you're trying to join, and the other table is incomplete, you might just want to do a left join and say, okay, it's fine if I have incomplete record of this, because let's say the same way I want sales year to date for this table, and I also want another information here. Maybe what I want here is the business entity ID. Maybe the other table doesn't have business entity ID. So that's how to like go about it. So I hope this video was a value for time. If it was, do to like, subscribe, follow, and share. Ciao.